In här då för Sellgren som inte får någon effekt. Här kommer Norlinder och han reducerar 3-2.
Här kommer möjlighet. Norlinder, han gör en dragning. Han ligger på gräs. Men vilken boll! Vilken boll!
Hello, in this video we're going to look at Mattias Norlinder. Norlinder is a puck-moving defenseman who was drafted 2 years ago by Montreal as an overager, which means he was passed over in his first draft-eligible season. He improved a lot since then, playing in Sweden's second and first-hour professional leagues, to the point where he could even make his NHL debut next season if all goes well for him at training camp. It's not the most likely scenario, he's probably going to go back to Sweden for one more year, but he is still a top prospect for the team. So like we did in other videos, we're going to watch one of his games. He wears number 6 with Frölunda. So this is the first shift of the game. Frölunda is on the attack, or more accurately on the forecheck. Norlinder comes in from the bench, he pinches on the wall, stops this breakout, so he went right on the opposing winger's back on the wall, preventing a second pass. Now his team recovers the puck, he supports that break-in attempt again. So you can see that Frölunda uses a pretty aggressive system in terms of forechecking, at least with their defensemen. They allow them to pinch on the wall as long as they have F3 support. So as long as an opposing forward stands high or reloads high to cover for that pinch. And what I really like about Norlinder there is that he checks for that support. He makes sure that his teammate is above the opposing winger or the opposing forward, at least accelerating to the blue line. And he is, so Norlinder can pinch on the wall or at least stay on the wall and there's no danger behind him. So he almost gets speed with speed right there, but it would not have mattered because behind him the situation was 1-for-1. His defensive partner could have acted on the opposing forward behind him anyway. So the situation was safe, Norlinder placed this well. And now the puck comes back to his defenseman. And what I really like about Norlinder is that he checks again for options. So he anticipates that he might get that puck. So what he does is he looks to the bench to see who's changing, who's where exactly, so that when he gets that puck, he can make the next play pretty quick. So good anticipation, good scanning habits from him. He doesn't end up getting that puck, but it's still a good play from him. This next shift is again a forechecking sequence for Frölunda. They use a 1-2-2 when it's a controlled regroup. So F1 is buttering the opposing defenseman. Norlinder cuts that pass. Let's rewatch this. I don't think he intended to really cut that pass, but it hits him in the back, so you gotta give it to him. He managed to make the defensive play right there. And right after, let's rewatch this again. He has possession of that puck. The lane is closed, but he adapts, uses the boards to get the puck to his teammate, which turns into another forechecking sequence. Norlinder pinches, but he's a bit light on it, so the opposing forward has time to move the puck across ice. Comes back in the defensive zone, scans for option before the breakout. Misses his pass, but he still finds his teammate below the goal line. Yeah, so Frölunda doesn't manage to exit the zone right there. There were too many passes attempt and too many failed ones. But since he sees that his team lost possession, he jumps right on his assignment in the defensive zone, which is supporting his teammate on the wall right there, which he does. Now this puck moves high, so he has to take... Yeah, so let's rewatch this. The puck moves to the point, so his role is to, as much as he can, to box out the opposing forward going to the net, because he doesn't want that opposing forward to be a tip option or create a deflection on a potential point shot. But what happens is that his teammate, his winger, misses his own assignment, so it turns into a kind of backdoor play. There are 2-on-1 in front of the net. But since Norlinder buttered his own assignment so much, he wasn't even a passing option, that opposing forward that he was boxing out. So this turned into just a 1-on-1 with the goalie, and the goalie stops it. So because of his motor, his energy, the way he really tried to box the opposing forward away from the net, he managed to reduce the quality of the scoring chance for the opposing team. So Pretty good defensive play for Norlinder after a failed pass on the breakout. Another offensive zone faceoff. That his team don't really win it, but Norlinder keeps that puck in the offensive zone. Now it gets to him. That was a pretty dangerous dangle. So let's rewatch this. That puck moves high. Norlinder has kind of an option in the middle of the ice, but I don't think he really sees it, or maybe he thinks he can't really reach that teammate. It's a pretty hard play to make because he doesn't have that much time to do it. So he tries a dangle. And one thing that Norlinder is really great at is making instant dangle on reception. So he uses backhand, brings that puck to his forehand, and tries to bait a poke check and really move past that first defender. But there's another one right there. So it's not really the best planning on his part, and this could have turned into, well, maybe not a dangerous scoring chance, but at least a rush the other way, because he had two teammates that stood high. So it was pretty protected from admin rushes. But it's not a play to try in general. It's better to just rim that puck down or pass it to the open teammate in the middle of the slot. Another face-off. This time it's in the neutral zone. Norlinder is again on his offside right there. Puck gets rimmed down. He stands with his coverage, and now this turns into a breakout. So his teammate gets first on the wall. His role is to go to replace that teammate and provide a passing option high, which he does, and then this turns into another battle. So he supports it, but lets his man get loose, and he scores. So that's a pretty big mistake from him. It's just a lack of energy right there, because yeah, he kind of forgets him behind him for half a second, and now that opposing forward has the inside track to the front of the net, and he doesn't try to recover or take his stick away or box him out or just pressure him in any kind of way. So there's a shot that the goalie doesn't really see it, because his assignment is forward jump in front of the goalie as the shot was fired, and now he loses track of the puck himself, Norlinder that is, and the opposing forward manages to score with one hand. So it's a pretty great play from number 34, not going to lie, but it wasn't Norlinder's responsibility right there. He doesn't have he's not that great at boxing out in general, but I don't think we can fault his effort in general either. So I wouldn't say this is a common mistake for him. This is Norlinder's next shift. He's right here at the blue line. Okay, let's rewatch this. So his teammates ends up in a pretty dangerous position right there. It's not a dangerous position because Norlinder is there to cover for him if he loses the puck, but Norlinder decides to move offensively right there to attack the pocket of space, which was the right decision because he does get the puck, but you can see that he has more offensive tendencies than conservative ones. He really attacks that pocket of space, even if his teammate is getting collapsed on. He gets that puck and he finds the next most dangerous option. So he's surrounded by 3 defender, and he still finds his teammate rushing the net, which was the most open player and probably the most dangerous play to make, but he just misses that pass. So this is good play selection, good player reading in general. Again, he's more offensive than defensive sometimes, but that's part of his nature, and it worked this time, or almost. Another defensive zone sequence. Norlinder is on the puck carrier, and he shows pretty good technique right there. So stick on puck, the other arm trying to control the movement of the opposing forward, not giving him a cutback chance right there. The puck still makes his way to the other opponent. Now he's away from the play, so his role is to find his assignment, which he does. He tries to box out the opposing forward, and now pressures him on the wall. The puck moves high, so it's not his coverage anymore. He has to switch back low, which he does again. And now just adopts kind of conservative positioning. And he has, and again, there's a lot of puck switches there. So it shows a bit of his awareness defensively, which is something that improved a lot in the previous years. When I first watched Norlinder, it was really a weakness of him. Now he's pretty good at it. He can find his assignment and switch and conserve defensive side positioning. So let's rewatch this. Puck moves across the ice. He picks up his man, boxes him out. Puck moves high, so he lets him go. Pucks moves low. So maybe in the NHL he would be right here on that guy, but these ices are larger in Sweden, so he has to give him a bit of space and just pressures him when he has a chance. A decent defensive sequence from him right there. Frölunda is on the attack right there. They have their 3 forwards in the offensive zone, so that probably means that Norlinder is going to come in from the bench, and he does. And we talked a bit before about Frölunda's aggressive use of their defensemen. Norlinder doesn't stop at the blue line when he enters the defensive zone. He really gets as low as he can, almost up to the line, almost down to the line of the high defenders from the other team. This allows 2 things. If the opposing team breaks out, he's already in a good position to cover his man and stop this breakout, stop passing options, because he's sitting right there on top of the high opposing winger. Or if the puck moves below the goal line again, Norlinder can come in from the high slot and provide a one-timer option. So I really like this tactic from Frölunda, and he gets a shot off from a pass from his teammate, his defensive partner. This puck escapes him, but he has the speed necessary to reach it before the opposing forward. Slashes again. Norlinder is a pretty great skater. He's speedy, he's agile, he's quick. It's probable that his skating, when he joins the NHL, it's going to be above average. Okay, really nice play. Let's rewatch this. Norlinder catches that puck. He sees that the other team is probably changing, so he has space to pick up speed to organize the play, and he does. He faces the first opposing forward, who just rushes him, so it's pretty easy for Norlinder to dangle him, and he has the confidence to do so. And he plans that the other... Okay, let's rewatch this because I can't talk about everything at once. So he has the puck in his hip pocket, and the other opposing forward is rushing at him. So that forward creates a speed difference with Norlinder, so it's really easy for him to dangle him. But the great play happens after, because Norlinder also anticipates that the other defenders are going to rush him too, and he anticipates that because those defenders rushed him, his teammate is going to be open. So they come in from that direction. That means that the open space is going to be in the opposite direction. So it just makes that play. It's a slip pass underneath the stick or near the skates of the opponent. It's a really high skill play, and also some planning, some hockey sense. You can see some of his hockey sense right there too. His processing ability, and he recognized the occasion to really make those plays, and he has the confidence to do so too. Second period started for Norlinder. His team is again in the offensive zone. They battle on the wall. Okay, that's really interesting. Again, you can see in Norlinder's position, so his team really swarms, I guess you can use that term, or they really collapse on the battle on the wall. So as all 5 opponents collapse on the wall, and Frölunda does the same. So they just enclose them right there, and they prevent an easy breakout. And now 91 is going to cut across the ice, and Norlinder follows him, so he's right on top of him. He just removes him as a passing option, which makes it harder for the puck carrier right now to make a play anywhere, because he doesn't have any option. And now he exchanges with his teammate, tries to create some space offensively. And all of this creates a point shot, which is a decent scoring chance overall. An offensive zone face-off. Norlinder again is very aggressive. He pressures that puck carrier, forces a dump out, and his team gains possession back. Now he's not playing the defenseman role in this breakout. He's going to rush up ice like he's a Ceremon, or yeah, he's probably F1 in that breakout. So his role is to provide a passing option. The puck deflects to him somehow, and he creates a shot. So let's rewatch this. So Norlinder realized that he can't feel his own role in this breakout. It's pretty easy read. I'm not giving him any kind of credit for that, but he swings up ice, controls his speed, provides I think his teammate just deflects that to him. That's a nice skillet touch. And because he controls his speed and came in from underneath the play, now he has a bit of a speed difference with the opposing defenseman and manages to create a shot on that. This is another chance for him to create on the power play. The puck exits the zone, so he finds it back at his blue line, has to create this entry, and he does. Again, let's rewatch this. So it's pretty easy in general on the wider ice to create entries from the wide line, and this is where he chooses to enter, but this is a power play, so it's perfectly fine. It creates the entry. I like this little freeze move, so he just he stops doing anything. He just keeps this puck in his hip pocket, and as soon as the opposing defenseman commits to a move, he just steps around him and changes it. Nice little change of pace right there. Now he's just exchanging that puck with teammates, moving it to the open man. The role of the power play quarterback or defenseman at the top of the zone is just to provide a release from pressure, exchange that puck east-west, and find shooting lanes, which is exactly what Norlinder does right there. So let's rewatch this. So it gets that and just finds a shooting lane. I think his teammates deflects that, but it's a pretty good play from Norlinder. So he read that lane, saw that it was open, and fired inside it, creating a goal for his team. Frölunda attacks. They get multiple great scoring chances. Norlinder is right in the middle of the ice right there. His team loses the puck. There are multiple puck exchanges. That's a great pass from him to create the next entry. Let's rewatch this. So the puck gets to his defensive partner. Immediately Norlinder knows he just knows his next play. So he knows the route that his teammate is going to take. He scanned before getting the puck to know the position of that teammate, and he just one touches that puck to that teammate. If he didn't do that, let's rewind it one more time, just to show you the impact that speedy decisions have on the play. If he just went forehand backhand with that puck, do you think his teammate has time and space to enter the zone? Probably not. So it would be slightly higher. Here the defensive coverage will have time to really readjust and close any kind of line he would have had to the offensive zone. So because Norlinder made that play really quickly, he just enabled that entry. I really like that Norlinder scans before getting possession. It's a really projectable element in this game. And now we missed something else, so let's rewind again. Norlinder scissors with his forward, and now immediately he doesn't try and shoot it from there or pass it to force a pass inside. He sees that there's a seam inside and he attacks it. The seam closes, he turns back and just makes a safe play. But I like the inside mentality. Like, there's a potential scoring chance there, and Norlinder takes it. He doesn't hesitate. There's full confidence. He has full confidence in his abilities. If number 91 didn't react quickly to this, Norlinder would probably have found that puck back and created a shot on net or something. So I like that he takes those chances. Now this is the last frame. The other team is regrouping in the middle of the ice. They find a really nice pass up to number 91, and that was Norlinder's assignment. So let's rewatch this. Norlinder is coming off the bench. He really has to shoulder check for that opponent because it's his own coverage. And because he doesn't, he gives up a decent to good scoring chance from the top of the circle. The other team is changing completely, so this is a great occasion for, let's rewatch. Frölunda attacks, the other team is changing to meet them, and there's space right there for Norlinder to help the play by activating up ice and creating a passing option, which he does, but the other team reads the play and just cuts it. But it's still a pretty good decision from Norlinder. Another offensive occasion that he decides to take without really any kind of hesitation. Puck gets rimmed down, scans multiple times, and tries to, I think he gets stripped right there. So let's rewatch this. One shoulder check, two shoulder check, a third one. He really judges the speed of the opponent, and I really like that he waits before moving. So what would happen there if he decided to move on that puck on reception? There's a large gap between him and the opposing forward, so you would give time to the opposing forward to adjust his course and really meet him and angle him off the puck. But because he waits for that gap to really close, he makes his move when the opponent doesn't have time to react, doesn't have time to adjust his course. Because there's a speed difference, he uses that speed difference against the opponent, waits for him to close his gap, and when he can't recover anymore, when he can't really change direction on a dime or really adjust his course, Norlinder makes his move. And he should have beat him, but I think he just trips on the opponent's skate. But I really like that kind of instinct from Norlinder. It's the kind of thing that's going to translate very well to the NHL. He won't have that kind of space to make his read and really plan his move, but I don't think it will matter too much because Norlinder is a fast processor, so he can adapt quickly to pressure and all of that. And I think he's going to be able to make the same kinds of play at a faster pace too. That's a defensive zone faceoff. Norlinder is on the wall. Oh, that's a really nice escape. And another great example of what I just talked about. So let's rewatch this. Puck is moved down. Norlinder scans at least twice, and he's not going to accelerate to pick up that puck. He's going to slow down, let the opponent close his gap, and as soon as he does, it gets really low on the skate and explodes the other way, or at least up the boards. One more time. He has some bouncy ball qualities too. So because he gets so low, even if the opponent tries to shove him, it doesn't work. It just adds to his momentum. So he absorbs all of the shove momentum and uses it to run up ice. So he shows balance, explosiveness, and some pretty good timing on his escape move right there. Again, a ton of projectable NHL qualities right there. In this game, we saw many of Norlinder's strengths. His ability to escape the forecheck and make quick passing plays. I like how he scanned for teammates before getting the puck on the offense. He always seemed to know his next play. His tools, I would rank him as an above-average NHL skater and handler. And his system play, he executed Frölunda's tactics well during the game. There were also some weaknesses. His defensive awareness cost him a goal in the first period. Engaging could prove a bit hard for him at times. He stops opponents one-on-one more with effort than technique right now, and he has a tendency to take some risks on the ice that might not sit all that well with NHL coaches. Still, I think Norlinder has what it takes to become an NHL top 4 defenseman. It's an optimistic projection for sure, but it's within his reach with the right development. If Montreal wants him to retain his offensive confidence, is to get to that top 4 role, it's best that the team doesn't rush him. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe to the channel to not miss the next one.